timing wise, this video is quite crazy. It's literally 3:33 on the time. Literally, as I'm about to set it all up. So that surprised the hell out of me. I'm literally just set up, ready to record almost, and then I look at the time and it's like 3:33. Boom. Now, it's another video here that's just going to perhaps blow some minds. I don't know if I'll be able to get it up, actually. I'm going to rather do it this way because I can't bother to keep sending things to my computer. It takes a whole process. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, though. Don't know if people are able to see it. Oh, it's so annoying. It would just be a lot. Oh, it'd be a lot easier if the camera could just pick it up. You know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It is a whole process. People probably don't realize how much of an effort it is to do some things with this thing. Like, for instance, I have to send images to my OneDrive and all sorts of stuff just to be able to then put it on display it on the computer. And it's a whole process that I don't enjoy doing. To be totally honest. I'll put the camera on. Boom. Hello. So you can see this is live. This is me. Hello. So the video we're watching here, I'll just show it so we know the we know the image. I'm hoping it does it because I'm gonna try and do it, but I don't have the camera because the level of bloody. Sometimes it's got like the exposure setting can be too high, but if I mess with it, it could cause all sorts of trouble. See there, it says 144 on the comments. I don't know if I can pinch it live so you can see it's this video. It literally mentions 144 in the video, and then I'm trying to get the angle so you can see the bloody. Don't get the problem. Going the wrong way. There you go. And 144 on the comments. That's the best way I'm going to get that because I really can't be bothered anymore to keep going all this other stuff. It's probably took longer to do that, just to do that. But I know. So this is going to be the final video in my A Star Is Born series. I like to finish things in like fives and things. I don't really like weird numbers. So let's just find my video. So I've got a couple of channels on YouTube. So there we go. A Star Is Born, and it's 14 parts in its present state, which is pretty cool. So this will be 15. Now, what I want to make a point here is I had to do something briefly to this. So what I prefer to have the latest part at the beginning on my homepage. So if you go on my YouTube channel, it's at the very beginning. You know, but that doesn't help people that want to. If someone was to click The Star Is Born, to be honest, and they was to go, I want to watch the playlist. Starting from the end isn't ideal, is it? You want it to be able to autoplay. So people can still watch it in their own time. YouTube will remember what video you was on and where you was, you know. That's pretty cool. But anyway, further down here, when we got to number 9, part 9, there's actually an episode where I've got reference to 144 because something was happening at that time. So I find that quite remarkable, really, as we wrap this series up. Because I wasn't sure what the final video would be, to be totally honest. I've done an awful lot over a short period of time, sharing my spiritual journey, which will hopefully help other people on their spiritual journey. And to finish it off, I get this video 144. And I'm like, it's mental. Because if people don't know it within spirituality, 144 has been like prophesized that 144,000 souls will come down to Earth. Like these are advanced souls to have a real positive healing impact on humanity. So we're here to create a massive change, profound change. And I get a lot of signs being the chosen one and all this things. And I hate the term chosen one, but the title of this video is going to be The Chosen. And I think it's relevant, really. It's a good summarize of this series and the signs I've received. And, you know, I know my journey inside and out. I get so many signs, it's ridiculous. I was reaching a point where I didn't want to keep sharing all of them anymore, like the videos I get and things like that, because they're, for me, my journey. They're deep. I can't. It's constant. It is constant. I know so much that's ridiculous. But it's for me, and I recognise there's a period of my life where it's going to be allow spirit to bring the blessings to me and let it flow, and I enjoy it. So there's going to be a period, and I think it's again, if we look at the time here, it's 20. The date is the 21st of the 12th, so that's a mirror number in itself, which is quite. I've only just noticing it now. And I think as we wrap up the year, I just think it's going to the new year, excited and ready to embrace the new opportunities. But I want people to catch up a little bit more. I don't want to keep creating. I love creating, but I don't want to keep creating and lose the message. You know, there's a lot of content here for people to absorb. I'm working on my next book. That'll be working on. I'll be focusing heavily after the new year. Um, so really, before we get on to that, I just want to show my books. I think it's important. I don't talk about my books anywhere near enough. So we just do this video just quickly, just to show my books. Only a minute. So really, what's interesting there, what's important really, is the fact that I started off by sharing my worst trauma and the healing process and even the spiritual journey. So it's quite remarkable. I recognized while I was doing the books that it's leading a trail. I didn't know where it was leading to, but it was leading somewhere, and I was leaving that trail, and it's really going to be helpful, I think, to a lot of people. So this guy's video, I don't know if people know, especially through the series here towards the end, he's recently just started appearing on my For You page. Now I'm looking at the comments, and he actually did these videos back in October. And that's the thing, Spirit will give us videos when we need them. And that's why sometimes maybe there's a video and you just think the person's just probably created like 20 of these videos. And that's all they create. It's that maybe they're not really the best of messengers. The point is, I'm not saying that in this case, but it can happen. But the point is, Spirit will put what we need in front of us. So it doesn't matter if the person had the best intentions or whatever it is. They're putting the information so it's continuous. So you keep hearing it, and it starts steering into your mind. It's like, I get it, I get it, I get it. Yeah, it's quite impressive. So like I say, I keep getting this chosen one, and then we get 144 there, and then as I've just shown on my screenshot, I got 144 on the comments. In fact, I can actually do it even clearer here. All that hassle with my phone. It says sometimes when you click the video later, it's changed. And that's why I was a bit more reticent about it. But if you look here, 144 on the comments, it's the same screenshot that I took earlier. Don't think I can move the screen sideways. No. So the best we're going to get is that level. But if you just look here, it's not going to highlight it. Oh, it will. 144. Anyway, before we get on this, I haven't actually watched this video. I literally watched maybe the first 20 seconds because I recognised the 144, recognised the video. These videos have been accurate to up to this point with all my other content. So I thought, I'll do this one on camera as a final hurrah. And in all honesty, like I said, I didn't want to keep creating so much content talking about so much of my signs because they're personal for me, and I do get an awful, believe me, on top of the signs I get an awful lot as well, talking about moving in silence on the next stage of your journey, at least at the beginning of it, so you appreciate it, you embrace it, and then you can share it with other people in the future. And I get signs of that, and for someone that's heavily shared for such a long period of their life, it's hard for me to stop. It's hard for me to take a step back, but that's part of my growth and lessons too. We're always evolving and learning. And I've recognized, like I say, if you go through my Star is Born series, I mean, that's only just one part of my profile. There's so much content on there. And plus to add that to my books, I've already done enough to let people just go on their own journey, embrace their healing, embrace their, even if they want to connect to their guides and go on a spiritual activation, then there's the tools to do that. My next book that's coming out is a spiritual book. At the moment, it's absolutely huge. So I've got to just try and figure out what I actually want from this book now, because there's no way it's all one book, it's multiple. So really, it's like, what do I want to say next? Or what does Spirit need me to say next? That's going to be the question. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's more focused on this series rather than what I was initially going to write about. And I'll ask Spirit myself, and we'll figure it out, and it'll release as to what it needs to be. That's the thing, because I get signs from Spirit deeply that they need me to, and I don't even just say signs. I had a meditation myself, and I asked, because I was distracting myself a little bit, and they just said they need the book done. So that's where we're heading towards. Like I say, we're wrapping it up now. I don't want to sort of go on. Let's see what he says, because I haven't got a clue what's coming.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to get emotional with this one because I was just getting really emotional with it. But if you really resonated with those past two videos that I posted, okay, you
343. Anyone knows my journey, I've spoke about it a lot. 343 is like a significant number to me. I don't know why. I see it and it means something, and I'm like, makes sense. There was someone I spoke to a long time ago. Their number was like 777, which we all know is lucky and fortune, all sorts of things. And then when you do numerology, you go, wait a minute, I didn't even realize this. But if you do this numerology, 343, so 3 plus the 4 after is 7. So if you do 4 plus 3 after, that's 7. So you've got 7, 7, but you can put the 7 in the middle as well because you can go each way. So effectively, if you did the first number, the 3 plus the 4 after, that number now turns to 7. You obviously do the same because it's repeated numbers. So you do the middle number would be 4 plus the previous 3 is 7. And then the last number would be 4 in the middle plus the 3 at the end. That end number now turns to 7. So it's quite strange, isn't it? Like when you think about it, it's like that. But I see the number and it makes me point. So we've got 144 on this video. We've got started my recording at 333. By the time I finally sit down and press play, we've got 343. And I'm like, well, that's all the synchronicities I need. That's a lot. That's a lot.
are a warrior of the heart, okay? You are a warrior of the heart. What I mean by that is the heart is the home, right? And it's the center of all, and it's the truth. And dang it, I'm getting emotional. It's okay because I'm a warrior of the heart too. Um, your role, your role here was to keep the heart alive, to keep the heart open. And I just know I'm speaking to people that resonate with this. That
I don't want to stop him anymore. So I'm just going to make the point now before we get deep in because it is 7 minutes. Um, if anyone's seen any of my videos in the past, I've been incredibly emotional at times. I've been in tears as well, especially when I talk about spirit and source and how proud they are of me. And when I'm like on that breakthrough stage of my journey, it's like I fall apart, because that's my everything. That means everything to me. But the further I've got on, of course, at the moment I'm more stoic and more focused, and I'm on the precipice of something big. So I'm more in like um, create mode, if you like. So I'm not being so emotional, but there's times when I will be, of course. Um, and that's what I really wanted to do before I even started this video. I was going to talk about that just briefly, is the fact that, there's times when you're on your knees. There's times when I'm arguing with spirit. It's like, this isn't fair. Like, why has my life got to be so hard? I've done everything asked of you, and yet I'm still struggling. I'm suffering. But whatever you've planned for me in this journey, it really hasn't been planned very well. And that's what I've been like with them. And sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just not doing it because I'm exhausted. And this is not fair. It's cruel. It's damn right cruel, my finances are always terrible, and it's like you put up with it, but is it fair with the work you put in? No, it's not. You see cretins. I don't want to say cretins, but let's go with it. You got these influencers that they're not influential in a positive way at all. They just drain the resources of those they meet. They just expect everybody just to prop their life up, and they give no substance to their life. You get these people just, especially on TikTok, for instance, where they just go live and they just ask everyone to keep gifting to them, and it's like, this is just ridiculous. And they you don't see them struggling. They're leeches. You try and have a positive influence on this world, and you don't get anywhere, and it's like, that's truly demoralizing. And then in like personal life with like family and things, like with my daughter and stuff, it's like, that's the separation. That's cruel. I understand from soul growth. She's got her lessons, I got mine, but 8 years on now. Come on, I've done the work. Every year I've done the work. It's not fair. But every time I have a pity party or I have a lash out and I get really, really resentful, I pick myself up and I keep going because I know ultimately that's what I'm here to do. So whether my 3D represents really what I deserve or what's supposed to happen, it's irrelevant in the end. In the end, what is your prophecy and what are you supposed to? What are you actually here to achieve? What does Source need you to do? What did I agree before I come here? And then it's like, I may not have the human experience that I would absolutely dream of having, and we all wish we had, but I have the path that was set for me, and it's important I complete this. I think of it sometimes. I don't really think of it that way, but it's innately in me. It's just it's not like I visualize it on a daily basis. It's just innately in me. Think of like Frodo with his ring. He would love to. Surely he would love to just go and have that bit in the Shire before he left. Or we find a fire in the fireworks, or having fun, and all these things. I'm sure he would love to stay there and just been having fun. Hot chocolates, just enjoying himself, not caring the world like everybody else. Instead, he has this huge weight on his shoulders, and he has to go through all these different challenges and dangers. Like a life, it's like a road of discovery, really. But you're doing more for the world than anybody would appreciate. You get no recognition. Um, and it comes with inherent risks, of course. And it's exhausting and it's demoralizing. It pushes you to blink and back. And that's literally what it's like. And you look over your shoulder sometimes and you just see everybody else doesn't have to worry about the things you're worrying about. They don't have the weight on their shoulders like you have. Doesn't mean their life's not easy, because people have, or not easy, people have their own challenges, of course. But rarely is it through such a selfless act. That's my point. So I struggle and struggle and struggle. I'm not looking for sympathy. I talk about it all the time. This is none of that. I'm just trying to educate people. I'm showing people the journey. So if you decide to take up the task, if you feel called to in any way, that's not me to say called to. Spirit and nudge the right people. Just understand it's going to come with immense sacrifice. And maybe by the end of all this, I am doing well for myself, and hopefully I'll be living a far better life. And that's why I leave these like little time capsules. This is how I'm living right now, and this is my story. And one day, if my story changes, people will have a reference point to say, look, he was there. That's what he went through. And that's why it's really important to talk about it. So it's not me going, oh, feel sorry for me today. It's none of that. It's like, this is what I've experienced, and this is what you may experience too. And in the end, it's like, what do you want for your life? And sometimes it goes even beyond that. It's not like, what do you want? But what is the purpose of your life? And like I say, there's always something we would wish we had. There's a desire. But sometimes it's just a human element. We get caught up in the material, but not even just that, just a human desire. When sometimes we have more of a spiritual purpose. It's a bit like where a monk, they spend their whole life of service to them, really to achieve their highest vibration, which in some ways to me is a bit irrelevant, because if you're not integrating in society, I don't understand that solo path. But then maybe it is to evolve your soul to that extent, and it helps on the other side. I haven't really thought deep enough about it, to be totally honest. But you think they're not having the same experiences and they're missing out on an awful lot too. But when you're of service, you're of service. So we won't all have the same experiences, may have similar. We won't all have the same outcomes, that's for sure. So it's going to depend on your path and also your resilience, because some people are just going to give up continuously. They may have the best of intentions, but maybe they're not resilient. I don't want to say strong, but maybe they're not resilient enough to see it through. It's okay to each in their own. We're not here to be mirrors of each other. It's not for me to say, oh, I'm self-righteous and only I can do this. That's not the case at all. But the point of this 144,000, like 144 is 144,000. And think about how many people on the planet. That's very, very few in the overall scheme of things. So it takes incredibly resilient and strong souls to achieve whatever it is set out. So I've had incredible visions. My tarot cards, I'm getting stronger and stronger with it. I'm always learning though. But I've had situations sort of where I've asked questions specifically about Jesus, and I've had a beautiful feeling around myself when I've asked. And he's answered questions even about the crucifixion and things. I've asked questions about the past, about ancient Egypt and things like this. And I have no doubt I can receive these signs and the answers when I seek them. But again, real various stages is when I'm ready to ask those questions, One thing gifted people have said to me, and it's not just one person, is that I have an awful lot of knowledge. I have a key to an awful lot of knowledge. I'm a sage, but a seer. So I have all sorts of gifts, a scholar, with the scribe, I mean. I've had things like that. So it's like I'm here to document and write and journal. I'm here to share knowledge, truth with the world. And even I'm only uncovering it in stages and really figuring it out. I get a lot of signs that I'm far more gifted than even I realized. And if I realized how powerful I was, I'd be incredibly shocked. And again, not boosting an ego, it's just what I know. So it's tapping into that knowledge, and channeling it. And that's going to be quite interesting throughout my life to discover that gift, I think. But yeah, so I've discovered my journey and I'm continually discovering and enhancing. And it's for other people to really decide what they want for their life. Because anyone watching this, if they've got any sense, they would have watched it in the right order. I don't see much point in just cherry picking the videos. If it says part one, I think it's best just to start on part one. So if anyone's got to the end, the part 15, this one, then you understand the journey anyway. And sometimes I feel I am repeating myself sometimes because I always feel like I've got to keep babying people through it, and it's not putting anybody down. But I think anybody that's got this far will also understand that people in their life, they just don't understand, and you have to feel a level of delicacy with it. So you don't want to be just like headstrong and make everybody feel alienated. So you're trying your best to balance it and educate. But I think the next stage of my journey is going to be more about me just standing in my divinity and power. And it's not going to be a case of keep trying to integrate so much with people that don't understand it. It's going to be more a case of I'm just going to speak with clarity on it. So instead of keep deviating and backtracking and keep saying, well, I'm not saying this out of I'm just going to start talking. I'm just going to start speaking what's on my mind and what I need to channel. And it's not going to be constantly putting people's minds at ease. I've spent my breakthrough doing that, and it's now the new year starts. It's going to be a new beginning and a new way in which I share my gifts. But I could easily take 6 months off. I don't know how long. I don't know if I'm going to be straight back, or I don't know if there's going to be a break. I don't know. Got to do my booklet for starters, but I'm going to just follow what spirit needs because I do get a lot of signs about silence and sort of enjoying your breakthrough, and then eventually you come back and do stuff. So it might be that, but then I could just continually share as I go. I'll do what I need to do. I hope that hasn't been any rambling. I really just wanted to get that across because it's the final one. Just understand. I don't know if I've really explained deep enough how demoralizing it is sometimes. It's only because he's getting a bit emotional there. It's triggering me to remember a little bit about when I do, and it's quite often. This isn't a case of I have a moment and it's a bit of a challenge. It's consistent. Even someone like me who knows an awful lot of their journey and the gifts, and I know the potential, and I know that how much beauty awaits. Even I get so frustrated in the moments because it gets tiring when you just see like it's a beautiful gift to receive signs. So when you don't receive them, of course, I can understand the idea that you'd maybe be a bit envious of someone that does because you'd love to have that connection. And I was like that 4 or 5 years ago. I thought that connection to source is probably is the best gift anyone could possibly have. Like that's priceless. People look up to celebrities and things, and all they do is act or sing or something, and not diminishing their abilities, but it's not really something to worship, in my opinion. But yet, you've got an opportunity to connect with Source, to figure out really what you're here for, your purpose, your gifts, everything about you. You get to restore who you are. That's the biggest gift anyone could have. So I feel incredibly gifted in that sense. But then it gets to the point where you receive so many synchronicities pointing towards what's to come or what you need to do or where you're at on your journey, what people are thinking about you, all these things. And as beautiful as it is, it gets exhausting because you're like, you know what? I just want to start seeing results now. I don't want to keep seeing a trail leading me to this checkpoint and this one to this checkpoint. I just want to get to the checkpoint because this is taking ages. And that's the thing. It takes ages. You'll constantly go through tests. So you get repeated issues. But also, the world has to catch up for your vibration to for it to be received. That's where it gets truly demoralizing. First of all, you're thinking, oh, they keep testing me, and then after a while, it's like I'm not. No, I've just gone too fast. Now, maybe some people won't have that issue if you go at a steady pace. Maybe things just click at the right time, and that'll be beautiful. Me, I keep steamrolling everything. They give me a challenge, I knock it out of the park. I've had so many signs with this. And I had it for a channeling session. I can't remember how they exactly said it, but it was a case of every time my angels, the angels, set me a task or a challenge, I keep knocking it out of the park. So they're always amazed by how fast I overcome things and I pass the tests. And I did one recently, actually last year, I think it was, or earlier in the year. I was asking specifically about am I going too fast? Am I growing too fast for spirit that you haven't got it? You haven't got the next phase planned yet. They have it planned, but they have it planned in a specific time period. Like it's going to happen in this event, and then your breakthrough will come. But because I'm so ready earlier in the year, when the breakthrough maybe comes at the end of the year, it's like that's a long period of me being frustrated. So they have to try to find something to just to keep me going. So there's been new challenges and things. So it seems like you're forever being tested, but really they're just keeping you occupied while they're waiting for that door to open. Now, they can open a door at any point, but it has to match. So, for instance, if you think about a career opportunity, for instance, and let's say there's going to be an opportunity and you're going to slot in and you're going to have this great thing. The opportunity needs to be available though. So they need to move things around so then that opportunity is ready for you. And some of that is just timing, you know. I know it's very specific, but I just want to make the point really that sometimes so many things can happen, and it can be the most frustrating periods of your life. That literally you feel like you're having a melt breakdown because you're just losing it. You're like, I've risked, I've sacrificed so much. You expect some level of gain or something from it. You know, if you've sacrificed everything for so long, you've done the best you can, you've been positive, you've done everything with the right intentions. It stands to reason that you should have a beautiful life. You know, otherwise, like, it doesn't make sense. Where's the balance? Why should it be that people that are cruel, nasty, malevolent, greedy, why should they have everything in this world? Why can't it be someone that does good things has a beautiful life? So it's kind of like it starts to go round in circles. To like, what's the point if it's going to be this? And in the end, that's a little bit of a self pity, but it's fair. But in the end, you're like, well, it's not for me to determine the things I can or shouldn't have. It's just for me to just be my best self. And that's priceless. So again, you go back round to say that connection to source is worth more than all the treasure in the world, isn't it? And so is love. And again, I spoke about that where my counterpart has been a long time coming, but I won't accept any less. So it looks like you're being picky, but it's like not being picky, is it? I'm looking for my counterpart, which is one special person in this world. I don't want to be of anything less than that. So I just want that perfect romance, that perfect relationship that's meant for me. And I'm in tune with it. And I'm inspiring them, and I know I am. I'm helping them heal, even if it's not me speaking to them directly. They see and hear what I'm doing. They can sense my energy. They'll be healing, and I'm contributing towards that. You know, that's not elevating my status or anything like that. I'm just aware. I'm aware. So when that union comes, it's not with rose tinted glasses and trying to put someone on a pedestal, thinking they're better than they are. It's like, no, they're that great, and spirits led us together, and it's been a long process. I'm not a fool. You know, I'm not just going to look at someone and think, oh my God, you're the most prettiest person. It's lust. It's nothing like that. I'll know if this is my counterpart, you know. And I already know because we've already had our interactions in the past. It's just things, spirit splits apart because we weren't ready for such a relationship, which I get. Hurts, but you get it. Anyway, I don't know what he's going to say. Maybe he'll say similar things to this. And I think it'd just be interesting if he does because I haven't seen it, of course. So let's let him talk now. I hope I've covered enough. It's a final video, so I'm really trying. I hope that I do.
That even in the darkest, darkest, darkest times of your light, of your life, of your light, you still kept your heart open, okay? And you showed others how to open their hearts too. Even if it scared the shit out of them, you still helped others open up their heart. Even if it was just a little glimpse of it, at least you planted that seed there to really break free and to really be who they are. 144 as I look down. You are the 144. You are the heart warriors, the heart leaders, okay? You're stepping into becoming a heart leader now. Now that you know that you're the heart warrior, you've been fighting this battle without you even really realizing it. If you're just realizing it right now, welcome. Congratulations. I love you. And thank you. Because not one person could just do this alone, right? Our ascended masters were all about this. We're all about, I just saw 222. We're all about keeping their hearts open and helping others to open up their hearts to live in their truth, to live in peace, to live in harmony, to live in unity, to live in unconditional love, to live from unconditional love. And that's exactly what this collective does, okay? I have my green candle lit for this message because we have the root, the heart chakra, the green, the pink, right? The heart chakra energy. And I just gotta say, you are so, 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 how do I even say this? You are so known to the spiritual side as well. Like, you probably get messages like you're highly ranked in the spiritual realm. It's because of this. It's because you came here to do this. And before I started my TikTok, I had one of the biggest heart chakra openings that really pushed me to do this. And, I had this conversation with God, and I just was like, what's my story? What's happening? Like, why am I here? Why am I doing all of this? So I had this meditative vision of speaking with God, and and I was like, I saw God ask me like, hey, the world is really fucked up, pretty much. Like, and God wasn't talking like that, but you know what I mean? Like, the world is really corrupt and misaligned and damaged and broken and fearful and all that stuff. It's really dark down there. Do you want to go there? And I was like, um, if if I know that this is the truth, if I know that I'm connected to God and God is within my being and I am of God and I am of unconditional love and stuff, then I shouldn't have anything to worry. I shouldn't have anything to worry about. I shouldn't have anything to fear, right?
I have used goosebumps then. And that's the thing with me. It's like, I don't walk with fear. I speak the truth and I speak what I'm needed to say. And when my time comes to an end, it's because it was approved by source. So I don't care how I go or when I go. It's irrelevant to me. I don't get to decide that. All I do is get to be light, a source of light, for as long as sort of source needs me to be on earth as a source of light. And when it gets extinguished, it's because they approved of it being extinguished in whatever way that happens. So I don't fear speaking the truth. They'll protect me while they need to protect me. And the thing is, like, everybody has their time. You don't get to decide how when that time comes or how that time ends. But if it's not your time, it's not your time. You know. Um. So yeah, I think that's what he's alluding to there. Is that sort of almost like how safe is it? How I feel safe if it's called upon. And that's the point, though. It's like I'm of service, and that beats everything. And it comes with risks. Of course, it does. Anyone speaking truth in a very corrupted world, you are at risk. But spirit places us where they need us to. So, for instance, with me, it's ridiculous. I've been stuck at home for an awful lot, and it's not like I feel burdened by it. I feel I've always got something to be doing. I'm just constantly creating and I'm sort of working on things. I'm never like bored or lonely like that. Of course, I'd love to have the relationship and I want things. And like I said last year, like I had my reading with Spirit and they said, you've got your journey and they've got theirs and we need more from you. So they place us where they need us to. And it may very well be by placing me in solitude like this. I'm not thinking that deep. I'm just getting on every day. And it's like, there's no reason for me to be going out to do this. No point me, I just need to be in doing this. So I'm like, and the days just go into themselves. It's not like I'm just saying I'm terrified of going out. It's like I just have no reason to go out at the moment. So it's like they're always giving me reasons to stay in. Um, that's the point. But it may very well be that turns out that's for your safety. There was a reason they needed you there. There's the reason to stay there. And that's what they'll do. They'll place you, if you're in sync and in tune with source, your intuition is so on point like mine is. So I'll know, and it won't be like, you might not think, oh, it's dangerous to do that. Sometimes maybe you will sense that. And it's like, I'm not taking risks. I'll always follow spirit. Even if it makes you look weak. It's like, I'm not here to be weak. I'm here to just follow my guidance. But it might very well be that they distract you with something else. So it might very well be that you're distracted to take a left turn instead of a right turn, to stay home that time, to continue, to don't stop, keep going forward, whatever it is. So people may set traps, but if you're in tune with source and spirit, they'll navigate you safely where they need you to. And again, unless they need something to happen, it may very well be in your lifetime something happens and it's done as a point as a something to teach other people. And of course, I think some things get in the way. Of course, I don't think everything's just ordained like that, but I think for the most part it is. And I think the more you're in touch with source and spirit, the more you are very much in tune with the timeline they present. But I think too many people get caught up in the ends and things and how things are. But sometimes like I always see it as even really bad moments. If you end, if let's say not everybody gets to die in their sleep. Let's go that way. Um, I think sometimes spirit makes a point, makes it a bit more of an impact. A bit like Jesus on the cross, for instance. He didn't exactly go in his sleep. Um, So that's interesting. I can't remember the exact questions I asked around that, to be totally honest with him, when I asked, because I did ask again. Look, I'm going to say it here because I've already done the video on it. I just got to find it. I just haven't prepared all that. where I asked specifically, did he die? Did he die? Do you know when they say he was resurrected? He was dead for 2 days and come resurrected from the cave. And I asked specifically through my cards and things with him, and he was he was nearly near death in the cave. So when he went in the cave, he wasn't dead. He was unconscious but nearly dead. But he had such a spirit in him, that just a warrior spirit. He wouldn't give up. And so when he left the cave, he was close to death because he was close to. But he resurrected because he hadn't actually died. But it was a close to death situation. You know, I can't remember all the questions I asked about that. It was a really good video. I just don't know if I've even got it here. I've got it backed up, everything I can for the most part. Unless anything goes wrong with that. But again, I could always do the questions again with cards. But it's interesting, isn't it, that their life was very much a martyr in the end, if you like, something really of significance. Anyway, not to deviate too much, but it's like effectively walk this path, doing what you're supposed to do. Don't sort of worry so much about outcomes because it's not really for us to worry about.
And God was like, yeah, that's right. And I was like, then yeah, I'll do it. I'll go. I want to go. And I'll be first in fucking line to go, to do this work, to be there and to have my heart broken so many times and to feel the pain of the world and to be this person, to be this warrior of the heart. I still say yes. I still said yes to this. You still said yes to this. You were front and center and ready to go. And I just know that by you doing that, you are so highly favored because of this. You are so highly protected because of this. It's so beautiful. It really makes life less dense, less heavy. Okay, I'm seeing 1:33 on the clock. It really seems less dense to playing this role, to being this person, to going through these experiences and whatnot. Because when you align to that truth before you even align to any circumstance or heartache or anything that you experience being in this vessel that you're in, you really can alleviate and find the lightness through it and be like, wow, I'm here for a divine reason, and I'm so grateful to know that now. And I can move forward, I can move through this hard world and this darkness and this density because of that, because of who I am, because of what I chose to come here to do. So I just gotta say, if you are one of these heart warriors of the heart, leaders of the heart, I freaking see you 100%. Okay, I love you, and I'm so 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 grateful for you. Okay, my words can't even express it, but it's something that we all can feel within, and I'm sure that can resonate with a lot of people. So, yeah.
So I resonated with everything he said. And I have to get this down. Yeah, let me get back to my channel a minute. Okay. So again, like I say, sometimes when I'm not feeling the suffering in the present moment, it's hard for me to talk upon it, if you like. But there's been the spirit and source are aware of all of it. They're there the whole way through of our journey. They know what's in our heart. They know what the suffering we've been through. They know how much you've sacrificed. There's been times, and I kid you not, where, especially with my daughter, she's been a huge catalyst of my healing. There's been times where we've been separated. Like, for instance, when I have her in holidays and things, it's like she always leaves upset. She never wants to leave, It absolutely destroys me and breaks my heart. And she's like, I have to drop her off 100 miles away. So I have this really heart-wrenching drive home after 100 miles on my own without her, So when I collect her, it's the most beautiful, joyous moment of my life. It's my happiest period, and it's like everything I create in between. It's like I do what spirit needs me, and then they always provide me with the blessing of her. I kid you not. Even if it looks like I can't afford to go and travel, or let's say her mum's been a pain in the whatever, or the circumstances around it, and it seems like it's no chance. I don't know how we're going to make that happen. All of a sudden, I'm working, I'm doing what they need me to do. Let's say I've literally just finished writing the manuscript for the next book, out of nowhere, and I can't, it's happened so many times. Out of nowhere, like a blessing comes, and it's usually surrounding her, and it's like, oh wow, like the timing is surreal, and I know that's them blessing me for the work I've done. Um, and like I say, it makes me so happy. Like when I get to spend time with her, it's like, oh, all this for this. It's like, yeah, this is my happy time. And it makes your heart beat. I feel like sometimes sometimes I feel like I'm the Grinch, and that's not who I am at my core. But it's like a version of me that exists to focus sometimes, so I can be more stoic. I lose maybe the joyous side. I'm less um, spontaneous with things. I mean, I'm just more focused and serious, and it's like that's not me at my core, but there's a certain side to me that is like that. So when I get to spend time with her, it's like you get to see that all of me radiates. It's like that's my purest version of self, and it's like I get really happy when I get to embrace that and I get to spend time. So it's like you come to life. Your heart just starts to grow, and it's like this is who I am. This is what I want. And then every time they take her away, it's like this is just cruel. And then I witness her crying and suffering, and I have to be strong for her because the last thing I want is to add to her misery. So I always have to be the strong one. You're right. We just focus on school and things, and we'll see each other next time. Yeah, and I'm trying to do all that. And then I have to drive home, and I'm a lot of the time I'm in tears driving home. I'll get a bit emotional thinking about it now. But I won't push it, but it's soul destroying. You literally gone from sort of being alive for a moment to now knowing you're going back to that version that had to exist to be that rock again, and it's like, I don't want to be a rock. I don't want to be a rock. I want to be happy. So it does sometimes take up time. Sometimes I transition quite well when I get home. I just refocus. Sometimes it takes me a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Sometimes it literally destroys me where I'll get emotional. I'll cry like crazy. And I'll be walking around the house like really fuming with spirit. Because I'm so protective of my daughters. And I know when she's suffering, it makes me angry. And then sometimes I literally, my head feels like it's going to explode. And I can't explain it. Literally, it reaches the point where it feels so much pressure in my head. And I feel like when I'm like that, and I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening, but I feel like the universe knows. I get a lot of signs. Again, we're wrapping up now. I get a lot of signs that there's many beings in different dimensions watching my journey. Now, I've got no doubt the other 144,000, they're watching theirs too. But obviously, I don't get signs about the other people's journeys. I get signs of my own. And I'm being watched and monitored by far more beings than I realize. And I hold a lot more power and purpose than I realize. I'm getting goosebumps again. And I'm aware on the other side, I have a lot of energy. So when I get really emotional about her, like for instance, my head feels like it's going to explode, I close my eyes and I get so frustrated. And I put out this wave, whether it's felt, I don't know, but I feel it. And it's almost like this sort of nuclear device that just goes off and it just goes, boom, out into the universe to show them. Like, I am angry. I am so frustrated right now. Like, I'm going to explode. And it's like, I'm sure they sense that. It's like the shockwave. And yet, all I can do is pick myself back up and continue focusing on my healing journey. I understand that there's a purpose for this. And what I realize a lot of it is she has her journey too. And like I said at the beginning, is you can be ready, but other mechanisms have to be ready. So she has her healing journey too, and she's been going through an awful lot. And I've had to help steer her in the right direction. So she's like me; she can be feisty, opinionated. She doesn't like being told what to do, but that's really because people don't show respect to her. So you'll have people that don't listen to her and don't want to dominate, don't like it. And little things along the way, I've had to try and stem that. I want her to be free spirited. I want her to speak her mind. I don't want her to put herself in a box. I want her to be able to be herself. But like I said to her, I said, you've got to pick your battles though. It's all right knowing the answers and thinking you need to educate everybody. I said, but sometimes you just got to watch on. You can just monitor a situation. You don't have to be right about everything. You don't have to make it clear that you know the answer. I said, so the problem is if your teachers are being a pain, you sometimes don't answer back all the time, because then you just become a problem, and then you're just feeding into what they want you, who they see you as, when you're more than that. So like sometimes it's just bite your tongue and just just let it be, let it go over your head. They can say it, but you can just know they're wrong. So pick your battles. And I kid you not, since then, like she was having real hard time, like real hard time. And then she started the new year after the holidays with just a much more zest for life, you know. All of a sudden she's saying, I want to focus at school, I want to do well, I'm just going to just focus on doing this. And she's truly enjoying going to school now more. She still has her issues at times, but she's made a bit more of a, she didn't have friends then. She was like really alienated, even though she's really bubbly and she should be popular. But again, people get threatened by your light in the same way I suffer from this. Now she's got this core group of friends she trusts who absolutely adore her, and she appreciates them, and it's been a great growth. And I do look on and recognize that it's not all about my journey here; it's hers too. She has to be able to exist independently of me. She's going to have a very powerful life with or without me. You know, I need her to be strong on her own, and I recognized that before. So like, where I'm protective of her, I took a step back slightly, recognizing that I need her to be able to be strong on her own. She can rely on me and I can give her words of advice, but she needs to implement and figure things out as well. You know, effectively, we're all here to be our own person. She's not here to be a mirror of me. But I need to give her the foundation to be able to be herself without worrying about things. You know, I don't put pressure on her to be this and be that. It's like you just, you know, some people do that. They try to make them, and it's like I want her to be her. You know. So anyway, so I recognise there's certain aspects of that that goes on in life. I've got to allow her to room to grow into her life. But the other part of that, of course, was as frustrated as I get this when we get separated. I'm like, well, let's say Spirit needs my next book. Let's say there's a collection of books they need. I'm not just saying specifically the books. Look at the videos I've done. I do a lot. There's a level of healing in the journey involved with it. Let's say they already know when we come together, and it's going to be when I've done everything up to a certain point, and there's all these little markers. Me sitting having a pity party isn't going to get those markers done. So I'm just if in essence I could end up delaying our reunion because I just felt sorry for myself. But instead, it's like just let's just be the best version of ourselves. Let's just achieve whatever we can, and then you just start finding yourself more anyway, and your energy starts to go towards the cause of what your sole purpose is, rather than attach it to an individual. So, of course, she's still a huge priority in my life, but in some ways, my purpose goes beyond it because I have my life to fulfill for my soul. You know, your soul fulfillment for your purpose for being here, in the same way she has her soul purpose for being here. It's really important that she fulfills whatever she's coming to do, and it will be independent of people around her, but she can still love and have experiences. And that's what I've learned for myself. And, you know, recognizing that in deep suffering, it is not an easy task. And like I said, I feel like my head's going to explode sometimes, and I get really, really deeply emotional because it's cruel. Like, I'm a family person. I'm someone that loves to love. I love to be I love to be spontaneous, like, in terms of like a little bit immature with kids and things. I'm great with kids. I was always the favorite uncle, and I have so much fun with my daughter and things, you know. And it's like for someone who has such a wonderful nature in that regards, I think to keep me isolated without any love around me, it's like this is just pure pain. You know, that's not fair. You see a lot of people in relationships and their families who are not nice people, and it's like they have the life you'd want, and you can't. What's this? What's this serving? Why leave me without that? Why can't I share that with someone and help? But it's like again, everybody else has to be ready. So who that divine counterpart is for me needs to be ready. They shouldn't need it from me to feel whole. You know, that's where the lessons come. So effectively, my daughter's going to become stronger, wiser, independent to herself. She'll know herself entirely. My counterpart will also be like that, and then we'll come into union, and we're all strong powerhouses on our own. And I get it now. Whereas before, I'm the one that had to prop everyone up, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. But kid you not, back in the past, I didn't get it, and it wasn't that long ago I was throwing a hissy fit. So the reason I share this again is to empower people and to show them part of the journey. There's going to be huge tests, there's going to be sacrifices, but I understand it's for a bigger cause, and there's usually a bigger reason that maybe goes beyond your initial comprehension. But then you start realizing that everybody has their own life, and it's not for you to sort of live someone's life for them. And that was a harsh lesson for me to learn, kid you not, especially with our children, you know, lack options. But sometimes it's a case of for all of us to make the best of the hand we're dealt. You know, you might not be happy and you may wish for something else, but it's not for us to determine that. If we're supposed to have something else in this moment, we would have something else in this moment. So, like, for instance, if my opportunities come, it's really important that people don't just obsess about that and think, oh, I want to get that. You can't fast forward the journey. It's so important that you can't fast forward the healing. I've gone from my hell and back multiple times. I've had challenge, test after test. You know, it's been brutal. And I can only share so much of it. Everybody's going to have their own experiences. And so many people won't understand. In the end, you just give up trying to explain it to those that are not meant to understand it. Because if they were supposed to activate, they would activate, wouldn't they? That's the way I see it. Maybe it's not their time now. Maybe it's their time in a few months. Maybe it's their time in a few years. Maybe in this lifetime they don't activate. But again, it's not for us to worry about. All we can do is focus on our own healing. Because the more we obsess about other people and appreciation or respect towards it, it's like we're just going to slow ourselves down, aren't we? So that's why I say a lot of the time now, I just create, move on, create, move on, create, move on, because I don't have time to waste. I want to get to my favorite timeline. I want to get to the timeline where I'm happy. I'm proud. So if someone asked, "Are you proud? Are you happy?" I'd say I'm proud, and in some ways fulfilled in certain aspects of my life. If you ask me, "Am I happy?" I wouldn't say I'm happy. I'm not happy. There's too much love missing at the moment for me to feel joy. But I am proud, and I feel fulfilled. And I say it all the time. If my life has to be of service to spirit, then I'll be that vessel for them. If my life has to be that sacrifice, then I'll sacrifice. In the same way that guy said that, he said that if he has to have his heart broken so many times, then for the cause he will. And that's the same way I say it too. If I don't get to live the happy life and it means it's for a bigger purpose, then fine, because that's what I come here to do. Our lives are only such a short snippet. It's such a short window. We all feel we want to achieve this, we want this, and I want this for my life, I want this for my life. And these are like desires, but not necessarily what you're here to do. But the point is, let's say 80 years. I mean, most people don't get there, but let's say you live to 80. You get to 80 years on this earth. Yeah, we wouldn't we wouldn't love like everything, to experience every little thing on this planet, even if it's at a detriment of your spirit. But the point is, you can live a life of chaos, and time will come to an end, and it's fine. You had an experience. That's the way I put it. I don't want to say wasted life, but you had an experience. Or you can be of service and actually instigate a change that carries on way beyond your lifetime. You literally, what you come here to do. You didn't get wrapped up in what you could do. You literally just do what you're supposed to do. So Earth starts to heal. Humanity starts to evolve. And some people will say, what's the point? It's nothing to do with me. I'm not going to be here to see it. But that's not the point. That's literally that's the whole point of our soul's evolution. We're making it better for the next generations, millions and millions more souls that will come down after. And if you're a chosen soul, for instance, you're likely to be on your last lifetime anyway. You literally just come here for this hurrah to help impact humanity. But of course, we all have desires. So we can get caught up in those desires, but it goes deeper than that. And for me, I just follow the path to whatever spirit needs me to do, because it is bigger than me. So um, I'm so proud of what I've done already. I've done the 6 books. There's been more to come. And I'll do the videos. And I think if we're going to look at, in terms of contribution towards humanity, trying to heal the planet and instigate a positive evolution, I think looking at what I've done, whether I get recognized for it or whether anyone even sees it, I think in some ways it's irrelevant. I've contributed. I've done it, haven't I? I've done it. I've done 6 books. I've done an awful lot of videos. I've done series. I've done everything. And I'm still creating more for Source. Because Source can put it in front of everybody when they want. And it may be after my lifetime. And it's like, whenever they need it to be seen, it's there. I've done the work for you. Do as you will. I had an incident last year where Spirit wasn't happy with one of my books. I'd done a collaboration work, but I shouldn't have done that. I gave the person more credit than I should have done, because that's the sort of person I am. And that's something Spirit needed to work on. And what Spirit come through for a very gifted medium was, there were some things in there that weren't true from the other person's side. So they were channeling stuff they shouldn't, and they weren't protecting themselves. So it wasn't necessarily pure information. And they wanted this medium to go through it for me, for us, for Spirit, and take out the bits that shouldn't be there. In the end, I didn't. I said, look, to be honest, I'm just going to remove to reduce any issues. I'm just going to remove that person's contributions, everything that was in the book, referencing like that they wrote or anything. It wasn't as much as what I wrote, but anything that they wrote, I just removed the entire lot. Even if they wrote something that I thought was great, and I thought, oh, actually, we could have kept that, it'd been good. It's not my work, so I just I said, is that okay if I do that? And they said, yeah, you can do that. So I did it. And this is what happened. I took all my. They said you may remove your other 2 books after the ones that come after that, because there might be things in there you no longer agree with. Effectively, I'd maybe reference certain parts. So I took all 3 books down. And then I used my tarot cards after when I was editing the books. Is this okay to release now? And I got an absolute no. So I know I've got absolute no cards. I've got absolute yes cards, and you've got cards that quite obviously are no and a yes, and it was no. I was like, oh, what? Oh, wait. Oh, there was a whole reference of a certain topic that I thought was a bit controversial. And I said, do I need to remove this chapter? And they said, yes. And I was like, right. So I removed all that. And then I said, is this ready now? And they still said no. And I went, what the hell? And I realized there was just one line. It just clicked in my head. I mean, obviously, they probably gave me that information, but it was like one line or something, or one reference I had to take out. I removed that. Then I asked, is this okay to publish now? And they said, yes. I was like, thank God for that. But I did it for them, you know. That was like a whole legacy, and I was so annoyed the idea that I had to take it down because that's 3 years worth of my work, 3 books, you know. But I did it for them. And then that medium, the medium I was talking to, he'd done a channeling session, and he said the angels have said how proud they are of you for that. Like you didn't need to do that. Like you have free will. And they said that at the time, but I said I did it for them though. This is their book. This isn't for me. This is for them. Whatever they need. So they said they're really proud of you for that. It took a lot of humility. I get goosebumps now, and they're really, really proud, and they're really looking forward to watching it grow. And even the medium said to me, you know, you surprise me all the time. Like you can come across as a bit arrogant at times, but like what should you do that? The level of humility and sacrifice that took that shocked the hell out of them because they didn't think that I would be like that. You know, it's like whatever you perceive. You know, it's like I'm here to do God's work, so I am a source of light. So I'm here to do whatever they need. You know, it goes beyond me. I can't say that any clearer. They need the books down. I took them down, even though it was a huge section of my life and reduced me to almost nothing. Again, almost like a huge reset, almost. But I did what they needed me to do, and I'll always do that, you know. And I think that's the thing. You're either of service to spirit or you're not. If you do it for the wrong reasons, they'll humble you. That's one thing. They will humble you a lot, even when you're doing the right things. They're going to humble you. So if you've got the wrong intentions, they'll definitely serve justice for sure. But anyway, hopefully this series has gone some way to helping people with this journey. And if I don't create more videos in the recent future, the near future, I guess, it's just because there's enough work there now, and I'm focusing on the next part of my legacy. I have multiple book series I'm working on. I've got this next spiritual book, which I've said is huge at the moment. It's going to be split over multiple books now. There's no doubt about that in my eyes. But we'll see. Maybe it won't. Maybe I can get it concise, narrow it down, and we can make something out of it. But it might be multiple books. I don't know. But I've got other series that I'm really excited about. That it's just going to take time, and it's going to be when I've got that space really to do it. Got one on society because there's an awful lot of problems in society, which deviates a little bit from my books, but similar. But I just wanted to focus an entire book on it. So there's that. I've got more on a healing journey. I think that's splitting over to many again because that's what's happening. These books are just getting so big. I'm having to split them up because they just can't fit them. I can't fit it all in. So we've got that, but then I've also got this history and mythology series that I really want to do that I've started working on already. So there's all these manuscripts already started where I'm picking prominent people from history and I'm sharing that about them, who they are, their life and things. And it's like a way just to immortalize them. And I think that'd be a great resource for people. So I'll do that, which is then pushing me towards potentially looking into mythological gods, really, and things, and deities. And that's going to be interesting. But it's a little more of a side hobby that I'm really interested to explore beyond what I'm already doing. So yeah, there's a lot to come. There's a lot I'm working on. And there's a lot of apparently opportunities that are to come towards me in the future too. So I have my own little projects on the side. So I can't possibly be bored. You know, I can get exhausted, but I can't be bored. I've got too much really in terms of side projects and things. But hopefully, like I said, this has helped people, which was the whole point anyway. And I think at part 15, I think we're done at that point. You know, it's a good end. I just wish people well on their healing journey, their spiritual journey, their activation, and their contribution towards humanity.